When you layer the entire Old Testament, Torah, and Hebrew law over nature, the Ten Commandments reveal themselves as just the foundation pillars. The hundreds of civic, dietary, agricultural, and ceremonial laws built on top of them form a complete ecosystem management manual. Long before modern ecology, public health, or soil science existed, the Old Testament codified the laws of biological and environmental sustainability into law. 1. Agricultural laws equals ecosystem conservation. The Old Testament contains strict land use rules that directly align with ecological preservation. The sabbatical year, Shemitah, Leviticus 25. Every seventh year, agricultural lands were forced to lie fallow. Natural law equivalent, soil depletion prevention, nitrogen cycle renewal, and ecosystem reset. Prohibition of deforestation during war. Deuteronomy 20:19. Soldiers were barred from cutting down fruit-bearing trees during military sieges. Natural law equivalent, long-term habitat protection, and resource conservation over short-term human conflict. Wildlife conservation, Deuteronomy 22:6-7. If taking eggs from a bird's nest, the mother bird had to be spared. Natural law equivalent, sustaining breeding stock to ensure species population renewal. 2. Dietary laws equals trophic level and pathogen regulation. The Levitical dietary restrictions, Leviticus 11, filter out organisms that occupy high-risk biological niches. Land animals. Permitted animals are strictly split-hoofed ruminants, cud chewers like cattle/deer. Pigs and scavengers are banned. Natural law equivalent, ruminants convert inedible grasses into clean protein via four-chambered stomachs. Scavengers and omnivores store high toxin loads, parasites, and pathogens. Aquatic life. Permitted fish must have both fins and scales. Shellfish and bottom feeders are banned. Natural law equivalent, bottom feeders and filter feeders, clams, oysters, crabs, processed ocean waste, bioaccumulating heavy metals, and red tide toxins. Birds and reptiles. Birds of prey and apex scavengers, vultures, eagles, are strictly forbidden. Natural law equivalent, biomagnification. Apex predators carry the highest concentrations of environmental toxins up the food chain. 3. Quarantine and sanitation equals biological disease vectors. Thousands of years before germ theory, Leviticus 13-15 mandated strict epidemiology protocols. Quarantine for skin/respiratory infections. Mandatory isolation outside the camp for 7 to 14 days until symptoms cleared. Running water, hygiene, washing infected clothing and hands in running water rather than stagnant basins. Waste disposal. Outside camp, Deuteronomy 23. Mandatory burial of human waste away from living areas and water sources. Natural law equivalent, preventing cholera, dysentery, and parasite transmission through fecal-oral vectors. 4. Social economics equals resource equilibrium. The Jubilee, Leviticus 25. Every 50 years, all land returned to its original family owners, and debt was wiped clean. Natural law equivalent, preventing wealth hyperaccumulation, a system where one entity captures all resources eventually triggers systemic starvation, revolt, and total ecosystem collapse. The overarching pattern, Old Testament pillar, natural law principle, biological reality. Sanitation laws, pathogen containment, microorganisms spread rapidly in dense populations without isolation and waste control. Dietary bans, trophic safety, apex scavengers, and filter feeders act as biological toxin filters. Agricultural risks, regenerative cycles, unchecked extraction, exhaust finite natural resources. Jubilee restores land, systemic balance, monopolization of resources starves the surrounding ecosystem. The Old Testament didn't invent these mechanics, it codified the survival realities of the biosphere. When human law mirrors natural law, the population survives. When human law ignores natural law, biological consequences execute automatically.